you doing?
Hello, what's going on?
We're coming to you this afternoon with another topic.
Yes, another good one.
Another good one. You ready?
I am ready.
All right. Yeah, I'm ready. When the Lord gives it to you, you're always ready.
Yes.
So the topic that has come to mind for this segment is to kill a snake, you have to cut off his head or its head.
Yes.
To kill a snake, you have to cut off its head or his head. All right? All right, so come on with us.
Here we go.
So we're going to talk about today how it relates to ourselves, how it, could relate to society or, other areas of your life, and bring it in biblically for you. All right? So here we go. All right. So first of all, there's some things I want you to keep in mind. So even after you cut off a snake's head, it still has residual brain activity, which means snakes are snakes are cold-blooded, and their brains can remain active for a significant time after decapitation, which means the snake can still feel pain. For those of you who care, I don't. And the process is not quick and it's not humane. So, I know there's some snake lovers out there. Some people actually have, pet snakes. I would never, because I don't even want a pet fly. I just don't like anything like that. But it's just important to know that even after you cut off its head, it still has brain activity. So if you don't want to inflict any pain on one of the creatures on this earth, then just know that you will be doing it if you cut his head off. Also, snakes still have reflexive movement, which means they can still move, right? The detached head can still bite due to reflexive actions. And not only can they bite, but they can also inject venom. All right? So just some few things to know. Even if you cut off a snake's head, get away from it. All right, so the metaphor to kill a snake or to rip off a snake's head, to kill a snake, you have to rip off a snake's head, means that to effectively and definitively resolve a problem in your home, in your life, in your relationships, in your church, in your organization, you must address or eliminate its source, leadership, or core cause. I didn't lean forward on leadership for no reason. I leaned forward because I'm talking about any type of leadership that
right.
Is not doing the best job. Okay. All right. And then the ripping off part implies that the action must be done swiftly, directly, and conclusively, ensuring that the problem is completely dealt with and not allowed to linger or recover. You got anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, just let me bring some of the content into context. As you were saying, even after you cut the head of the snake off, it still has reflective movement and it's still reflexive movement in the head and in the body. So when it refers to issues or problems or problematic people, it just goes to show you that those who are causing a problem don't really care about the group as a whole, because even after you cut them off, they will still try to cause issues and cause problems. So they didn't care about the group or the organization in the first place. And secondly, it just goes to say that cutting the head of the snake off is only the first step to resolving the problem, because the problem doesn't just end when you get rid of that person, because that person or those people or in that organization, because what they've done, the effects that they've had on the organization or society the effects will still remain. So there will still be some and I'll use the word, there'll still be some residual issues after you get rid of that person. So that's only the first step to resolving that issue or that problem.
And it's funny you should say that, because sometimes when you, well, I don't want to say this because I don't want to go outside and see a snake's skin, but sometimes when you see a snake's skin, you automatically know that there's a snake around somewhere, right? And if you see one snake, there's probably some baby snakes around, especially if it's a mama snake. I'm not sure whether it's a snake would be a male or female, but just like with the example you just gave, if you cut out an issue, that's just the first step.
Right.
So even with killing a snake, you may have to put down some snake away to get rid of the rest of the snakes.
Right. There's some more work to be done.
There's some more work to be done. Okay. Yeah. All right. And even though I said that you have to take care of the issue swiftly, directly, and conclusively, that does not mean that you should be, when you, me, him, are addressing, and we're using the metaphor snake today, addressing an issue or people or person or problem, it does not mean that you should be as mean as a snake that you're killing, because civilized folks or folks that call themselves Christians should address issues by first grounding their response in Scripture, second, balancing truth with love, and acting with kindness, humility, and forgiveness. Now, I encourage you, each of you, I encourage myself, and I know sometimes people get on my nerves at the moment, and I might not have time to pray, but I encourage you to pray for guidance, to speak the truth tactfully. Because we can speak the truth, but we can be very angry. And seek to understand the other person's perspective. Because we may have misunderstood something. Okay? And for personal and interpersonal conflicts, this often involves confessing one's own part. Meaning, if we got an issue, right? And I'm thinking he's a snake in it. I could really be the snake in it, because I need to look within and see what part I played in that. And setting up a time to talk face to face, and if necessary, seeking outside help. You got anything you want to say?
Oh yeah, you definitely have to one of the main things to cutting the head off of a snake is addressing the real issues. It's not always just one issue. Sometimes there's a plethora of issues that lead you all to this situation. There's a plethora of things that have taken place that may have made this people or person feel comfortable in the organization in which they can act and govern themselves that way. So you got to get back to square one. Where did we start to make this person feel comfortable where we can do this or say this? So get back to square one, address all the issues, even the part that you played in it, and be honest with yourself.
That part.
And be honest with yourself as far as what part you played in it, and be honest with yourself to realize that maybe you are the snake in the situation. Maybe your actions is the head of the snake that needs to be cut off.
And the issues could have stemmed from a long time ago, and even in our marriages and our relationships and our communities, if you don't nip something in the bud or address it early, then and you allow it to happen, it's going to continue to happen and continue to happen and continue to happen. So it's better to rip off the head or cut the head off the snake early rather than later. Because it's like, well, I've been doing it like this all along. You never said anything, or I've been whatever, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about self for a minute. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about me. Let's talk about you. Okay? All right. Killing your own snakes. This generally means taking care of your own problems or dealing with your own personal issues without relying on others, right? Because sometimes, just sometimes, and I'm sure some of you can relate to this, that say for instance, if he and I are having relational problems and I call my whole family, my uncles, and and I get them all mad at him, right? But I didn't exactly kill the snake or what I thought was the snake, or I may be the snake. And 5 days later, we all right. Right?
Right. Yeah, but
and everybody else is still mad.
Yeah. So what you did was you fed the snake. So now the snake then became bigger.
The snake is bigger. So we got more people involved.
Mm-hmm.
So dealing with your personal issues without relying on others. Rely on yourself, rely on your partner, and rely on God. If that's who you serve.
Because the thing about relying on others is when we have those kind of situations in our life, we're only going to go to the people that will agree with us. So we're not going to go to, most times we're not going to go to somebody that's going to give us constructive criticism and say, you know what, you were wrong. We're going to go to the ones that we know share the same views and same opinion as we do. And then you got two people that are that are wrong together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he used the word constructive criticism. I prefer constructive feedback. It means the same thing. You're just a little harder than I am, a little softy, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so so this emphasizes personal responsibility, my responsibility, and my direct action. And we must directly confront and eliminate a core personal issues or the snake representing our snake could represent a bad habit that we have, a belief that we have, an instinct that we have. It could represent our nasty ways or our character. And only we can truly resolve that, right? But, and I realize that can be challenging to self-reflect, but we have to do that. And in order to do that, you have to practice emotional intelligence, and you have to be completely honest with yourself, and I have to be honest with myself in who we are and how we are.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta step outside of yourself in the situation and put yourself in the other person's shoes or on the other end of the spectrum or the other end of the issue, and say, if I was on that end of the issue, would I want someone talking to me like this, treating me like this, doing these things to me? And if the answer is no, then that's your answer, that you're wrong. You need to change your ways. You need to cut the head off the snake.
Right, cut the head off the snake.
Yeah.
And we're all guilty of it. I mean, he's guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. Are you guilty of it? We can admit ours. Can you admit yours?
Yeah.
All right. And one really good way to figure this out is to simply calculate in your minds how many times we ourselves have been the common denominator in situations, but we still say, it's not me. I didn't do it. But in every situation, you are that one common denominator. We have to stop blaming everybody else for our mess.
Yeah.
Just do.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So let's go. Let's go into the Bible a little bit. So biblically, in Genesis 3:1, the fall, right? We all know about the fall. I'm gonna read it to you. Verse 1. Now the serpent was more crafty than any of the wild animals the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, "Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden?" Verse 2. The woman said to the serpent, "We may eat fruit from the trees in the garden, but God did say you must not eat from the fruit that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it or you will die." Then it said, "You will not certainly die," the serpent said to the woman. Way back in Genesis, the snake was crafty. The snake was a fiery mess, there to steal, kill, and destroy. That's why we're having problems today. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show because they didn't resolve that issue with the snake right then and there. We still have issues today, and not only that, remove the snake from the situation. That was clear disobedience to God.
Yes.
So when we don't do what we're supposed to do, what we know that we're supposed to do, we allow those snakes in our lives to develop. We did not allow those snakes in our lives to take up mental, emotional, and spiritual landscape in our lives, or real estate, more so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to be careful to notice those things, those snakes, and to realize that's what's happening, or that's who's happening, and quickly get rid of them.
Yeah, exactly. People can be deceptive. Snakes are deceptive, right? Just crawling along and, look like he's minding his own business trying to get away from you, but as soon as you are not paying attention, it will strike you. So don't be deceptive. Don't be the snake that needs his head cut off. But if you are the snake that needs your head cut off, confront whatever habit you have, whatever tendency you have, whatever meanness you have in your body. Confront it at the head and just cut it off. It's not as simple as I'm saying it, because I know habits are hard to break. But if you're a part of mess, it needs to be chopped off at the head. If there's some stuff going on in your churches, it needs to be cut off at the head.
Oh,
yeah. Anything else you want to add?
No, just ask that you take this word and this lesson into your own life, do some self-reflection, and open your eyes to those things in your life and those people in your life that are the snakes, and also take a look in the mirror and get rid of those personal snakes that are causing personal problems in your own life.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
We're out, y'all.
Till next time.
Bye-bye.